Hey guys, Angela Rose here, and I have been gone for a while. And I just really felt inspired to do this video to share a little bit about my journey this past year. I have been very, very, very quiet, as you may have noticed. And I guess I'm sharing this to just in case someone else is going through something, a lot of shifts in their life, and also feeling quiet. Or maybe you are yourself. And so I'm looking out my window and fall is approaching and we are going through a different season. And in Wisconsin, we have the 4 solid seasons. And it is a reminder that change is happening all the time. Even if you live someplace where you don't see all the 4 seasons, but change is here. And how do we navigate changes? How do you navigate changes? So this past year, a lot of changes have been happening in my life. A lot of wake-up calls, a lot of aha moments. And I've been processing it all. And just taking it all in for myself before I teach it, before I share it. And also there is a quietness of that comes with any kind of life changes or stress that maybe you experience yourself, of not fully showing up as well. I've done both. I've taken this time to really take in all the new things in my world, but also I have been not fully showing up. And that's okay too. We need to give ourselves grace for what we need, not for what we think we should be doing. And I just know for me, when I do show up, I feel much more aligned. I feel more confident. When I'm sharing my truth, and doing all the things I love to do, I feel good. So it's been kind of a tug of war, tug and pull, push and pull, if you will, of balancing the quiet space of processing and learning things in my life, as well as trying to balance how do I still show up for myself, for my family. So this past year, there's been a lot of shifts. There's been loss of relationships that meant a lot to me. I've gotten pregnant. There have been so many things. These subtle shifts in my career. There's been so many things happening. And one of the biggest things that I think I've learned this past year was I thought I was fully showing up for myself. I thought I had good boundaries. I thought I was more of a leader in my own life. And what I really discovered through all of these changes was that I have been not having the best boundaries, doing probably a little too much people pleasing, and not even fully aware of it until it was pointed out to me time and time again this past year, by my boyfriend, who has been a miracle in my life. And let me kind of go back to say that if you follow me, you have heard me say anything is possible. And I truly, truly believe that. However, in my life, I didn't fully see the physical results of the anything is possible in my own life. I knew I strongly believed it. You've heard me talk about how I have my house after being a single mom for so many years. Like, that was a miracle. And there's miracles everywhere, but this year I got to fully experience the expansion of these miracles. Um, this year I met the love of my life, and things have not been perfect. Like, we are growing together. We are evolving together as individuals and as a couple. And that takes work. And a huge point in this message that I'm hoping you receive is that even being in the spiritual world, right? Or this, when we talk about being spiritual and having the best life and manifesting it all, it takes work to get there. It takes effort. It takes action. So it is not when you start leading this life, it's not a life that's free of conflict. Things get shown to you. When you no longer want to sweep things under the rug, which I'm not a person to do that. I consider myself a truth teller. I want to talk about things. I want to go deep. I want to go there. But when you're no longer willing to sacrifice your soul and to sweep things under the rug, things are brought to light. Hard truths that maybe are hard to admit for ourselves, right? So there was a lot of that for me this year, a lot of hard truths that I saw about myself and the way I was leading my life. So it's taken work, but it's been so worth it. So from where I was last year to where I am now is completely different in many ways. I feel I am more honest and real with myself, and I feel a sense of more raw truth within myself, of not people pleasing, of not I guess I'm struggling to find a word for it, but I feel closer to myself. And so doing this work, having the relationship, right? We all say what we want. We all say we want this loving, beautiful, magical relationship, this long-term, I want a husband, I want a wife, all these things, right? We say these things. We say we want the lots of money, we want the $1 million, we want the beautiful home. But what are we willing to do to get there? And this is the work that I so deeply love, that is also so deeply hard. It's so hard sometimes to do the work, to be radically honest with yourself. So this year, like I said, I met the love of my life, and so much radical honesty I've had to face within myself of what kind of partner I am. Who do I want to be? How am I going to show up for this person? We can get the person, right? But how are we going to show up? Just like anything, with the job, with the money. So I feel like he has come into my life and has really blessed me and my family. I also manifested, as you know, I have 3 beautiful boys that I love so much, and I've always wanted a girl. I always thought I was going to have a girl, and at my age, 42 years old, if we're being radically honest, I thought my time was up when I turned 40. And surprise, she's here. She's on her way. It's a girl. Every time I go in for an ultrasound, I always triple check, like, can you make sure she's a girl? Like, I've just never, like, I always had it in my heart that I wanted to be a girl mom, that I thought I was going to be a girl mom, at least have one girl, and it never was in the cards for me until now. So a lot of miracles have come into my life, and it's also about receiving the miracle. How many times do people want to help us out or offer support or provide a compliment or money or whatever, and maybe even just buying you a coffee or lunch, and we want to say no, so this is all part of manifesting and creating the life that we want? Can you say yes to it? Can we be radically honest with ourselves about where we are, what's working, what's not working? Because that takes a big person, a person with lots of courage to look at themselves and say, I'm doing something that's not in my best interest or not in my highest good, for maybe myself or someone else. So that takes radical honesty. It takes a lot of courage to shift that, to be honest and then shift it. And then to receive it, to receive what we actually want. We have to feel worthy of that, right? Even being in this, it has been a while, and I help people with this type of thing of relationships and getting what they want and manifesting the life they want. But it's still work for me every day to make sure I'm aligned, to make sure I'm doing the work myself, and to know how to receive everything that I want. Even with this baby girl that I'm pregnant with right now, just to even, for it to even sink in, like, I don't even think it's sunk in that she's going to be here in a few short months. You know, it's like there's a part of us, the human essence of ourselves that has a hard time accepting the blessings that God, the universe, want to give us. So a lot of the work, number one, being radically honest. Number two, doing the work. And number three, learning how to receive. And so even in a relationship, learning how to fully receive love and having to offer myself to someone, right? To be vulnerable, to be raw, to be who I am, to let someone see who we truly are. And that's one of the things that, even as a kid, I always had that message in the back of my mind that I just wanted. I share the story of how I found out I'm in part Native American, and at probably around the age 9, 10 years old, and I was in the grocery store with my dad. It was a Friday night. We were picking out movies, and that was back then where you actually go to the grocery store, to pick out a movie. And I remember I found out I was Native American, and so I made this thick Indian headband, right? This leather headband with long strings of leather and the thick beads, not like cute and dainty. And I remember thinking I was wearing this proud at the grocery store with my dad. And I remember thinking, I don't care if I look like a dork. I do not care. I want everyone to be able to express themselves. I hope by me wearing this, people will look at that and say, like, go girl, I'm going to do the same thing. Not that they're going to wear the headband, but that they can express themselves how they want. That they can let the mask go and just be who they are. And that's what I felt in my soul. I remember those thoughts. And I always come back to that moment because it was like my purpose. I felt like that was my calling in life, to help other people take off their mask, to take off your mask, and to be ourselves. And I think we all start from this spiritual realm, and we choose to come to earth in these physical bodies to have a physical experience, to experience what is on our heart. And so it's not a clear path to get there. We don't come here with all the answers. We come here, I think, to find the next stepping stone. And as we're finding the next stepping stone of what's best for us, we learn to trust ourselves more and more. And that's the whole point. That's the whole point of, it's fulfilling. If we were given it to us on this gold platter, would we see it? Would we have the tools to receive it and accept it? So I'm saying all this to say that I want to share. I'm going to start sharing more. I feel like I have this past year been through a lot of shifts, and I'm at a different place in my life than I was a year ago. And I've grown in different ways. I've struggled in different ways, yet I've grown so much in other ways. And I know that I can be of value and of service to maybe you or someone you know, that also wants to grow and evolve and maybe doesn't have the tools right now or the support or know where to start. But I think I know I can add a lot of value from everything I've been through, and really taking the time to soak all these things in myself, to really embody the changes and the shifts that I've been through this past year. And I'm ready to now come and be of service to those who are wanting more in life. And maybe you don't know what that looks like yet, but you're ready for more. You know you were born for more. You know you have that desire on your heart for more. And I think I can be a true testament of trusting the process, especially being 42 and pregnant. I never thought that would ever happen at my age, but I feel so blessed that it did. Finding the love of my life in this stage of my life now, having a beautiful girl, having a beautiful home to live in. I always thought it was possible. It was always on my heart, but I just didn't know how it was going to happen. But it's knowing how to navigate through the unknowns, trying to learn how to be comfortable in the unknown, because that's where the magic is, in the unknown phases of our life, and building within ourselves the inner trust, the inner faith. We have to be our own best advocate. You know yourself more than anyone else, and if you're listening to this, your soul is calling you to trust it. And that takes not living in fear. That takes letting the fear guard down. It might not ever go away, but we can put it to the side and know that it's fear. We can call it for what it is, but then we can stay aligned within ourselves, and we can pull out the strong parts of us, the faith, the trust, the knowing, doing the work, being radically honest with ourselves, putting in the effort, the legwork to show up for ourselves, which is hard, to be vulnerable and to put ourselves out there in the world, right? In any situation, whether you just want a relationship or a better job, or you just want more and don't know what that looks like, you're having to do the work still, and that can feel scary. And then learning how to receive it all, to know that you are worthy of it all, that right now, whatever your desire is on your heart, you are worthy of that. That is your gift to experience here on earth. And there are going to be losses, and there are going to be radical shifts. And yet, to trust that you are right where you need to be, and to trust that calling, that knowing that you have in your heart, that no one else can know. People, I lost a friendship because someone thought I was just absolute crazy to get pregnant at 42. No one's gonna understand our dreams, but they are your dreams for a reason. And so I want to help you connect, to bridge the gap from where you are now to where you want to be, to connect yourself to your dream, to become a reality. I believe in you. Keep shining. And stay tuned for some announcements. I have exciting new things in the works that I will be announcing soon. So stay with me, and we are this community, and we are going to help raise each other up and just keep guiding ourselves and each other closer to our hearts, closer to our inner knowing, closer to our reason and purpose of being here and experiencing what we are in this world.